We all know who we are. It's in there, but we've put these masks on for years and layers and layers and layers of masks so that we can be accepted, so that we can fit in, so that we can be liked and accepted. Well, the truth is, you are accepted just the way you are. I believe in having a growth mindset. And so I have this 3G thing where I'm like, look, if you want to accomplish anything in the world, there's 3Gs that you need. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have some grit because it's going to be hard at some point, and you have to have gratitude. If you do those three things, I don't care what the goal is, it can be accomplished. And so that's really been the journey I've been on to make sure that my health is aligned, that my relationships are whole, my business is going well, that every single day I'm waking up and I feel grateful to be alive and I'm enjoying it. And so I don't know where the best life came in. I maybe it was a song. Maybe I'm going to hear it and go, that's where it was.
That's what it was.
But I just, why not? Why not enjoy the time we have on this planet?
Yeah, it's a great mindset, right? Like, is this going to help me have the best life or live the best life? Out of the three, growth, grit, or gratitude, you think grit's the hardest one for most people to get behind?
I think gratitude. And it sounds wild to say that. How many times have people heard on a podcast have an attitude of gratitude, have a gratitude practice?
Sure.
And so few people do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I actually, if we were to spend a lot of time on this, I would actually say grit is the easiest one, with growth mindset and gratitude being the most challenging. And I don't like that, right? But I actually do think people have persistence. But they forget to enjoy the ride. And that's where they go, you know what? I'm working my tail off, but I'm not seeing any fruits of my labor. I'm going to stop. So I don't know. If I were to rank them real quick, that's where I'd put it.
You know what? That's a really good point, because most of the people that we talk to, most of my clients, right, they're usually medical professionals, whatever. They're high performers. I talk about this all the time. High performers, high achievers, and they live in a world and their offices typically with less than high performers. So that's very challenging for them, right? So they have that grit, put their nose to the grindstone, but they often think that that's going to be the thing that helps them get through it. But the secret sauce I find in most of my stress, most of my business, whether it be with my marriage, my kids, whatever, is the gratitude for that. And it really is a secret form. So much science around it too, about the power of gratitude with there. When you talk about people showing up as who they are and showing up in that gratitude space, how do you help people really find out who they are in order to show up like that? Because there is so much pressure to be, look, or have. When you were successful from the outside, you would have had people going like, oh, I want to be like you. I want to be like JM, but they don't know the inner working. So how do you help them show up who they authentically are?
I love this question. You got to get quiet, man. We all know who we are. It's in there. But we've put these masks on for years and layers and layers and layers of masks so that we can be accepted, so that we can fit in, so that we can be liked and accepted. Well, the truth is, you are accepted just the way you are. And actually, the right people can really buy into you, really can get behind you if that authentic person can show up. So you have to take all that stuff away. And it started like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, man, where we go to middle school and it's time to fit in and be cool. And now I'm starting to compromise my values. Now I'm starting to try and act or look a certain way. The moment we can get rid of all of that stuff, that's when true freedom comes into play. Now, what I found the easiest way to do it, this won't be the first time people have said it, and it certainly won't be the last. But getting really quiet with yourself. So meditation's a huge part of my world. I do it at least 2, maybe 3 times a day.
Wow.
But really spending time just with you. You can hear those thoughts. Now, I just want you to write some stuff down. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be, nasty. It's just whatever you feel, write it down. And what you'll do is you'll start to clear out all that stuff, get the cobwebs out of the way. And then you get down to the core of who you are, what drives you, what really gets you going. And now we get to really start fulfilling our destiny, fulfilling the purpose of why we're here, filling our buckets on a daily basis. But until you choose to get quiet with yourself, it's hard, man, because that's going to take a lot of time of somebody like myself to ask you question after question after question. But if you get quiet for yourself, it's in there. Are you willing to see it? And are you willing to bring it to the world? When you do, it's an amazing feeling.
Do you think, have you found maybe that people get afraid of that quiet and get afraid of what that will actually reveal?
Yeah, it's fascinating to me how often people say, I'm not any good at that, so I can't do it. You're not any good at sitting there and just being with your thoughts? No, JM, because what you just said, it is a fear.
Yeah.
What if I don't like what I have to see?
Ooh.
What if there's something in there and it's ugly, man. And it's something that I'm ashamed of, right? And so many of us have these traumas. That's why I don't want to face that. But the truth is, until you do, you can't show up as the best version of you. Now, the amazing thing is now we have so many tools available to us, right? There's, whether it's therapy, whether it's, there's people doing plant medicine.
Medicine, yeah.
Yeah. And I did ayahuasca about a month ago. I had never done a psychedelic in my life. Drugs scare the heck out of me because I have a very addictive personality.
Yeah.
But I found out this isn't a drug, man. This is literally a plant medicine. It was remarkable, Dino, what I was able to really reach in a short period of time. And specific to my dad, it was amazing. So I'm not saying to go do it. I'm not saying not to. I'm saying have an open mindset to say, look, maybe I can accomplish something far greater than I ever thought I could, but trying things, really trying to get better. And again, that's why my mantra, getting better every day.
So I'm incredibly fascinated by this because my wife and I have been having this discussion for probably about a year, if not a little bit longer, about different types of plant-based medicine. We have some great friends who have gone through certain things, everything from psilocybin, ketamine isn't a plant-based, but still using that type of therapeutic medicine to actually help overcome trauma or anxiety. Our youngest daughter deals with a lot of anxiety. And so we've talked and looked into a lot of this, and I've had a lot of good friends who've gone through and done an ayahuasca experience. And one thing that every single person comes back, and love to hear your experience on this, that says is not only do they reach a deeper level of spirituality or connectedness, whatever you want to call it, but almost every one of them says, whatever you want to call it, you can't come out of that situation not believing in a God or God of some sort, a higher power, because you touch it and you feel it. And that to me is the most interesting thing. I was raised very, very specific religion. I was very active in that religion. And I've just always felt like there's more experience or growth out there touching a higher level, if you will. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. I'm sure people listening are like, yeah, what got you, if you're so against or worried about that type of thing, because I too have a very addictive personality. I come from a family of addicts. What made you make that decision, and what was your experience like with that?
Yeah. So every single person I ever talked to that did ayahuasca says the same thing. It'll change your life.
Yeah.
Every person, like 100 people say it'll change your life. And they're right. Now, yes, on the spiritual, yes, on the God thing, it's hard to quantify, like, what is it for someone?
Yeah.
I call it source and I call it God. I was raised Catholic. I'm a confirmed Catholic. Catholicism and I didn't jive for a long time. So I would consider myself a Buddhist. I'm very into meditation and treating others,
Sure.
A lot of the same principles. But what I will say, to your point, I have been touched by God in this last month and a half.
Wow.
I now am comfortable with the word God and not associate it necessarily with a specific religion. It doesn't mean Catholicism is bad. My experience wasn't ideal with it. It didn't jive with me. And I equated God and this religion together. And the truth is that it has nothing to do with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It is a part of it. There is a source, there is a God that has created all these amazing, abundant things in our world. And so I didn't expect that. That was not on my radar going into this. And 1000%, I have reconnected so much more with nature. I'm a guy from Montana. Like, I love being in the woods. I love being out in nature. I'm the guy that loves to go fish and camp and do all that. And I lost a little bit of that along the way, through the pandemic, through losing my dad. And to be able to reconnect both with Mother Nature, with Source, and with God, not to make this a super philosophical thing, but there's no limits. And here's the last thing I'll say to this. I had a really profound experience with my dad, with forgiveness of myself and for people I haven't thought of in 20 plus years.
Wow.
And the last thing, Dino, that was amazing, there was a moment where I am in this journey and I see this thing and it's this white light and it explodes. And any fear that I had, they're gone. And my wife, even walking through the door, she's like, what in the world happened? I was like, babe, I didn't have a lot of fears to begin with. I have zero at this point.
Wow.
And she goes, what a feeling. I said, it's remarkable.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's such a personal and connective journey. And I hope if you're listening to this, you understand and appreciate like that type of level of searching, of willingness, of openness to be free and find that for yourselves, and whatever that looks like for you. Hopefully, you're able to find that, because I think that is part of our journey here on this earth, is to find that level of freedom and fearlessness. And the more you get there, the faster you get there, the way better you will be, for sure. Hey, there's no reason to learn how to own your role on your own. If you like that clip, go ahead and click right here for another one. Or if you want to watch the entire podcast, go ahead and click right here. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.